All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Outlaw Sports with Jesse and John. What are you laughing about already? I haven't even had a chance to get over the comment section yet. Oh man, who cares?
Just thinking about shit.
Oh, I thought you were laughing at Rye Guy. Oh man, unfortunately, you won't be able to see your guy till tomorrow, Dan Lanning. I think he's first one on the podium tomorrow. But yeah, we're here to talk about Big Ten Media Day and other stuff. But man, was there some interesting stuff, interesting clips that came out of Big Ten Media Day, way more than just the fumble, right, by the UCLA coach, which we're obviously going to get into. I watched all of them. I watched every single interview, right? Well, the entrance when they came onto the podium and spoke out of the press conference and stuff like that. Why am I getting echo? Oh, hang on. There we go. I was getting echo through my phone. Either way, yeah. So they are, but y'all know yeah. Look, Lincoln Riley had some rash remarks to say. Matt Rule had some rash. Look, there were some people that apparently just they get in the Big Ten, and all of a sudden we got a little bit of balls on them, and they want to say some stuff, and we got actually quite a bit to get into. Like I said, I took notes on all this stuff, but yeah, I'm waiting on a couple more people to get in here. Where's the next bait and switch? Unfortunately, my new job, will not let me grow it out. So this is basically the longest I can actually grow it out. That's why I'm clean shaven and everything now. So yeah, unfortunately, you guys won't be able to see as much of that going on. But
we'll call him Invisible Beard.
Invisible Beard, Lincoln, Nebraska, go Beard. Yeah, Dylan Raiola. Matt Rule was one of those people that decided to say some stuff. He did. He got a little antsy on the podium today, and we'll get into that. So we'll start off with, let me bring up my notes real quick. And basically, I'll talk about what I saw. Jesse's going to kind of react to it. I'll start off with the not so intrinsic stuff at the beginning. So let's start off by, we'll go to Michigan State. Jonathan Smith, right? First year head coach coming over. Basically, his was the most boring but most direct out of everybody there. Jonathan Smith reminds me, look, I was in the military. He reminds me of a damn drill instructor. He knew what he wanted to say, how he wanted to say it, and he wasn't going to take no BS from nobody about it. Plain and simple. He stressed adapting and his evaluation of talent. Right. So his big thing coming over to Michigan State, he said, hey, we may not have all the resources everybody else has right now. So the big thing I want to do is bring in people with experience around me and people that can evaluate a ton of talent. Yeah, the guy is very strictly business.
So he was really thorough. Did he actually give y'all the location of Michigan State University like some other coaches?
We're going to get into that. We are going to get into one of the most embarrassing, most cringe-worthy moments I've ever seen somebody on a podium, maybe behind a microphone, period. And it was a head coach. But, yeah, so that's all I have for Jonathan Smith. That dude is very thorough. You know what I mean? He elaborated on a lot of things, but business-like, man.
He left his alma mater high and dry.
He did.
Talk about that. He was his alma mater, Oregon State. And
yeah.
He got out while the getting was good. He saw the writing on the wall. I guess Oregon State and Washington State are probably going to end up in the G5 conference. But I've been hearing rumors now that from Greg Swain that Oregon State and Washington State with some kind of maybe deal with 3 or 4 ACC schools may actually come into the Big 12.
Yeah. So, and Ryan, you make a good point. Michigan State is much better. Yeah, especially considering where he was, right, at Oregon State. He does have better resources. But once again, I think he's saying the correct things, right? So you want a coach that's we're going to evaluate talent, right? That's who the people we're going to want to bring in people that can basically help out with experience when I don't have so much experience as a head coach. Oh, my gosh.
So where's the media days being held at?
Indianapolis.
All right, so he's saying that there's a big inflatable duck on the river that's close to Indianapolis, I reckon.
Is it by Indianapolis? Oh, and what do you think about this? Oregon State, especially Washington, seemed like more a group of 5 schools. You agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they were saying at first. They might be going to Mountain West, but now I'm hearing from Greg Swain that they might be in line to get in the Big 12. which would be a good landing spot for them.
Yeah.
It would help them out a lot. It would help out the Western schools with travel partners and whatnot. But if that don't happen, I could see Oregon State and Washington State moving down to the Mountain West Conference. What about you?
Yeah, I think Big 12 is where you would want to land if you're Oregon State and Washington State. You don't want to be succumbed to the Mountain West. Nothing wrong with the Mountain West, but it's still not the Big 12. And the Big 12 is trying to bring as much money as humanly possible by trying to sell their naming rights, right, to the Big 12. So trying to make up for some NIL gap between them, which they're not going to ever do, between them and the SEC and them and the Big 10. But either way, that's all I have, honestly, for Jonathan Smith. The dude did not, like I said, he didn't create no drama at all. Very businesslike. Like the way he approached it. So you want to move on?
What drama are you going to be able to create, man? Let's be honest. I mean,
Michigan State, some drama.
Michigan State, though, is one of the more blah programs of all time. They got probably the most blah helmets, blah football field, blah, blah, blah. Michigan State.
So now we'll move on to the next one that didn't create much. Kirk Ferentz. Look, I knew Kirk was at Iowa for a long time. I was not aware how long he was at Iowa. If you had to take a ponder on how long he's been at Iowa, how many years do you think he's been there?
Too long. He's been there about 25 years.
Exactly 25 years.
Yeah.
They're going on his 2016.
But have you seen his record? His record is not nothing stellar at all.
No, it's not. But it's Iowa.
Just like the guy before him, Hayden Fry, lost almost 200 games. If you want to go somewhere that's not going to be pressure cooker, Iowa's your place, man. You can get away with 7-5 every year.
Well, I mean, they've won 10 games.
Yeah, but it's like periodically they'll win 10, and then they'll be 7-5 and 6-6 and 5-7. I mean, like Michigan State, two boring ass teams. So.
No offense. So, anyways, Kirk Ferentz got up there. Tim, I think his name's Tim. Tim Lester comes in, first year offense coordinator, senior analyst from the Green Bay Packers. Trying to bring in somebody who's worked with the NFL, right? Has been a head coach, who's been basically all over the place, very, very experienced on the offensive side of the ball, and stressed that. He said that, hey, I know I lost 3 starters before we even started conference play. You know, M.O. Cade McNamara was supposed to be the guy, gets injured, ACL tear, I believe. We lose, you know what I mean, 3 games, and I still fire my offense coordinator because you couldn't produce, even though I lost the bulk of my offense. It's still not good enough.
Is the reverse version of USC.
As in
they have no offense, but they got championship defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Their defensive coordinator is probably one of the best defensive coordinators I've ever seen. I mean, they won 9 games with an offense was probably averaging like 17 points a game. Won 9 games that year. So
they duck egg 3 games. So for the offense. Oh, they have won games.
The defense has won all their games. The defense wins games at Iowa.
He stressed the importance of offense getting better, and there are no excuses, injuries, staff. They got to win or they're gone, essentially, saying that the next offense coordinator that comes in, which was obviously Tim Lester, he will be expected to produce results right away. Like I said, Cade McNamara and 2 others are coming back healthy, even though they still won 10 games. They're projecting now, look, we should be better. 10 wins is not going to do it this year. They want to get better. And the funniest thing happened at the very end of this, and it was a locked-in reporter. I think he's locked in – I don't know which network, but in case you guys don't watch much college football, YouTube, Locked In has a multitude of channels. But there's a reporter there that tried to bring up USC tension to this guy, to Kirk Ferentz. He asked a question about a statement he made 5 years ago about USC's defense. And basically, he was trying to insinuate saying that he was saying, oh, USC defense isn't up to par. Oh, he was for Locked In USC.
USC has a defense?
I guess. So, and he tried to bait him into making some rash comment about USC, and he wouldn't do it. So that was actually a bit of drama at the very end, and they cut it off pretty quick because the dude was having none of it. Kirk Ferentz was not biting into that. He's basically like, look, I made a comment 5 years ago when we played them, and guess what? They beat them. I believe Iowa beat them like 49-23 or something like that in the Holiday Bowl.
I don't remember that, but anyway.
But either way.
Randy R. says that Michigan State is a top 25 program all time. Guess he's taking exception to me calling them blah. Y'all need to get some helmets, man, and spruce that field up, man. That's probably one of the ugliest football fields I've ever seen. I'm just being honest with you, brother. I'm trying to help you out. You know,
I like some of their uniforms, their white ones, but that's me.
When they put the Spartan on the side of their helmet, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that generic S, man, it's not my thing. I mean, I don't guess it's just green on green. You got green helmets, green football field. I'm just like, let's get some sprucing up.
So, but either way, he didn't bite. They cut it off. They weren't having none of that. So, yeah. As far as Iowa Kirk French, you got anything to say about him as far as Big Ten Media Day and all that stuff?
I like Iowa as a program. Like, Rye Guy alluded to, Iowa people are great folks. They are. And it's a great atmosphere up there from what I hear. They got the little tradition where there's a children's hospital, and they always, like, they wave at them at the end of the first quarter or something.
Yeah.
It's got some good traditions and some funny traditions. The locker rooms are pink there.
Yeah.
They do that to the opposing team to try to emasculate them a little bit. And I just think Iowa people don't strive for more, and they should. I think they just put up with mediocrity sometimes when they shouldn't. And I think Kirk Ferentz should have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah. Give me 1 second here. I guess we'll move on. I'll let you start off, I guess, by showing the clip of the UCLA coach.
Okay.
Do you have it with you?
I don't.
All right. Well, I'll find it here in a minute. Sorry. Anyways, getting over to the comments again. Let's see here. So, Sooner in Texas answered the question, where do you get the information from Jonah Williams? So, Jonah Williams has never closed his recruitment. He hasn't. He's made official visits to other places. He hasn't even committed yet. His commitment date, let me see here. At least I didn't think he closed it from what I've seen. Yeah, see, he just set his commitment date as of 2 hours ago. So Jonah Williams is not a lock. His commitment date will be August 24th. He's still was taking visits. We're about to hit the dead period where the kids can't go out and visit. But he's visited multiple places. Now, the chances of Oklahoma landing him are projected at 16 to 18.5%. It's not great. But the fact that it was at 0 and pretty much Texas A&M was a lock, and then what happened was Oregon came in. And when Oregon came in, LSU came in, and it opened the door, and he started visiting. And it kind of like opened everybody's eyes like, oh, shit, this guy will actually visit other places, and he'll open up his recruitment a little bit. So even if you go on his Twitter, he's not committed anywhere.
I heard from On3 that he had added Oregon to his list.
Yeah, he did add Oregon. That's what I'm saying.
So Oregon's on the list then.
Oregon, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. That, in my opinion, is the big four. A lot of people are debating between LSU and Oregon being the favorites. But look, there's been a lot of flips. A big one would be, oh my gosh, I forgot who was the recent one that committed. Oregon and Miami were the tops, and he ended up going to LSU. Was it Meadows? I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but either way. He said it looks similar to a condom company. All right, so I guess we'll start off with the next one. Let's.
Where's the good one?
We'll talk about Nebraska and Matt Rule. Matt Rule decided to get up there and say some stuff. Look, I don't mind Matt Rule. I've never had an issue with him as a head coach. I've never thought he was great, right? I thought when he was at Baylor, a little but he did great things where he's been. He's flipped some teams around, all that stuff. But look, you can't get on this podium and tell me that the Big Ten is the NFL of college football. You can't sit there and tell me that they should have 4 automatic bids into the playoff system because the Big Ten is easily the best conference. Your takes on that?
Well, I mean, if a conference is going to have that claim, and I'm not saying that because my team's in the SEC. Well, probably the SEC, considering they've won 17 of the 23 national championships. I mean, if he's saying the Big Ten and the SEC combined would be like the NFL, he's right. But the Big Ten alone is not, to me, the best conference in America. They may not even be the second best. They just got the most money. They got the most money. But I think overall, more times than not, I think the Big 12 could probably hang in with them with a lot of their teams right now, even without Oklahoma and Texas. But they just got the most money right now. And as far as money goes, yeah, they might have the most money being close to the NFL money-wise.
Yeah, conference championships, or not conference, sorry, national championships, it's not even close. And then when you look at NFL players, it's look, guys, it's SEC, and it's been that way for over 20 years now, right? So, and it's like you said, it's not just because Alabama's an SEC, it's because it's factual information. It's statistical information you can look up. There's no argument behind analytics when you make a comment like that. So Mitch Edison, one of my buddies, he's actually a Michigan State fan. So Mitch, if you're still on here, let me know how you feel about Jonathan Smith as your new head coach. So, but moving on from that,
Mitch, make a donation to the field, man.
Let's
get that field spruced up a little bit. It's a little ugly.
All right, so you still on the field, huh? Yeah,
not just the field.
I haven't paid attention to the field.
Man, it's just boring, man.
You don't like the helmets. You don't like anything about Michigan State.
When they put that Spartan on the side of their helmet, that looks
That's
cool.
it.
But other than that, I mean, they just need to spruce that field up. That field looks just archaic.
All right. So, and another thing Matt Rule openly said, by the way, was he wouldn't play USC or UCLA in a non-conference. So he's like, if I was still in the Big 12 or wherever, and I saw that UCLA and USC would be added as a non-conference, I would throw a fit, and I wouldn't want to play that. Okay, how are you openly admitting that you're two new guys coming into your conference? You're admitting you don't even want to play them, and then talk about how good your team is and the expectations. Am I looking too much into this or what?
Would you want to go to LA and play a game?
Well, not because of the location. The location sucks. I'll give you that.
You know, I think Nebraska, just like Rye guy alluded to, those heartland states, they don't want to go out there and be amongst the skilled shitters. You don't want to do a home and home with them and have to dodge human feces to get to the football stadium, right?
That's not what he's talking about, though.
I don't care what he's talking about. You asked me my opinion.
I mean, would you be scared of them, of their record?
I'd be scared to go play them.
That's what he's talking about. He's talking about just the record.
The record. He ain't scared of them. He just don't want to play them because of the shitty ass football fields they got.
I don't think that's the reason, but all right. So Matt Rule, and then like I said, he called the Big Ten, the NFL, the college football, and then the big thing they alluded to for about half the time was their graduation GPA being 3.241, which is the highest outside the Ivy League ever. Nebraska, Matt Rule.
Well, why'd they lose their AAU status then? They're so good. Why ain't they got AAU status? Which, by the way, is a farce, everybody. It's a bunch of bullshit. Just so you know.
That is a good point, though. They did lose the AAU status, but yeah, this is the highest graduation GPA, by the way, ever. So, like, with so many players. So, I mean, congrats to them on that, I guess, if you want to push it into that.
Congrats on that. Congrats.
But I don't know how it's
I guess you could join the Ivy League, man.
That's why I was like, expectations in Nebraska is, I get it. You do want to care about graduation rate, but at the same time, you have to.
When you have to grasp your graduation rate, it probably usually means that your sports programs are not winning championships.
That's
just the way it is. Now, Stanford will claim they got the most national championships, but equestrian, swimming, and dodgeball and transgender volleyball don't count.
All right, let me bring up this real quick, guys.
Bring that up real quick, boy.
Shut up. So I'm going to show you guys what the UCLA coach
said
and fumble through now. So we're going to get into Deshaun Foster, right? So it is Deshaun Foster, right? Either way, yeah, Deshaun Foster. What he said to open up UCLA's new coach, right? Brand new, been on the staff, played for UCLA. I believe he was a running back. all that good stuff. But he opens up the Big Ten Media Day. He's the first one on stage. And this is how he opens Big Ten Media Day. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys on this, because this is cringeworthy, guys. If you haven't seen this, it gets real cringy. Let me mute my mic.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA.
There's more to this, guys, but we're going to stop for copyright issues. What do you take from this so far?
I think you need to go ahead and play the rest of it.
Okay, so you think we're good? All right, so going back to the rest of this.
It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
You should have just played the whole thing on that one. You could have got away with that one, probably. Because it's short.
Yeah, it's pretty short. Guys, this guy he was shook hard. That's hard to watch. And you're absolutely correct. He looks terrified and nervous. He looked around for help. For God's sakes, he looked to the sides like somebody do something at this point.
But I just wanted to educate everybody in here. I mean, he wanted to let y'all know that UCLA is in Los Angeles.
I can't believe he said that.
Just so y'all know, the L and the A doesn't give it away at all. At all.
And look, I know this was coming. Some people are just not good. Here's the thing, though. Previous interviews, if you go watch him speak, guys, he's not a brand new coach.
The whole thing, because when you paused it right there, it sort of didn't give the whole feel of what happened there.
Oh well, my bad. Either way, the feel is this: he said UCLA is in LA, and so is USC. So, like you alluded to, he gives everybody a geography lesson.
Well, he said that UCLA is in Los Angeles. Y'all might not know that, and then he pauses for a long time. He goes, looks around, smiles, and laughs. Oh, and USC's in Los Angeles too. I mean, where's that come from? That's just so random.
Like, bro, that dude was tense. Here's what I think. If you go and watch his previous interviews, which I've watched, previous press conferences, which I watched, I went back and watched a couple of them. He was perfectly fine in all of those.
Play the whole thing. Play it one more time.
You want me to play okay, so I guess we're going to play the whole thing again without stopping. So let me
just so they get the full effect.
Let me bring it back.
That way, y'all won't.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
Yeah. Who taught you speaking at UCLA? Is that what that UCLA education does for you?
No,
You're able
because-
to tell them what two major teams are in the Los Angeles market?
Something happened because if you go back and watch his other interviews, other press conferences, he's fine. Like he's perfectly fine. Like, this is the hardest part of this is like when you go back and watch how good he is in other interviews and press conferences, it's hard. It makes you wonder what the hell happened here to turn this so sideways to where the guy can't even speak. It's almost like he memorized his speech, went up there and just got terrified and brain dumped everything.
He didn't have his Biden earpiece in.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people mention that. So let's get to some of these. Rye guy coming in with a hook seems like a DI hire. Jonathan needs to give UCLA a home. No, trust me, wouldn't be able to handle that. Poor guy, he isn't a media person, but he is a media person. Go and watch his stuff, man. That's what makes this so hard.
Yeah, everybody's poor guy, man. I mean, come on, man. A 5-year-old could have done better than that shit.
I'll be straight up honest with you. Something happened. The guy's head was not in the game. This was, like I said, there's too much evidence of him being good at doing this, and then to turn around and do this, something happened. There's more to it behind it than us. Campus in LA, yeah, you're right.
Just so you know, technically, Deshaun, y'all don't play in Los Angeles. Y'all play in Pasadena, about an hour away.
And if you watch the whole interview, he's great at answering questions. Like the rest of it was perfect. It was just that opening statement was holy crap. But either way, before we really dive in any more into this,
he was having one of them Biden type strokes out there on the podium, man.
Well, what makes this so odd is he preached a philosophy he uses, which is energy, right? Basically, got to have energy, no disrespect, stuff like that. But big one was energy. Is that, bro, you preach about energy and then you get on the stage and it looks like you have none. Like you have zero energy. Look at the way he's talking, mundane and monotone and all that. And you know what I mean? And you're going to sit there and preach that your team is built on energy?
It looks like he was shook about something, like you said. Like maybe beforehand he had
something happened.
Maybe he got in a domestic dispute with his wife on the phone or something. I don't know, man.
Something happened. But he goes on to talk about how he hired Eric Bieniemy, right, as the offense coordinator to bring in experience. He talked about how he brought in people to surround him because he's new to the game, guys. Deshaun Foster has no head coaching experience. He barely has any coordinator. He doesn't even have any sole coordinator experience at all.
I can't believe he done that, man. I can't believe they hired him, man, as a head coach. I could understand maybe elevating him to offensive coordinator, because he's a big name in UCLA history. But he has no reason to be a head coach.
Yeah, it's
other than what Rye guy said. Maybe it's a DEI hire. But the whole DEI thing I'm not a big fan of because it's an insult to the minorities that you give that position to. You're basically telling them that they're not the most qualified. They're just getting it as a token.
Yeah, man. So, Rye guy, he's going to the Big Homies. Kelly and Ducks are going to show up. Yeah, yeah, they play LSU. Like, oh man. Sooner Texas DI hires are required to prove their bold claims. They just get hired because they fit the molds. Yeah, we can get into this all day long. But yeah, that was pretty much Deshaun Foster in a nutshell. All about energy. You know what I mean? Like I said, Eric Bieniemy brought him as offense coordinator, surrounded himself with experience at UCLA. And he's going to have to navigate tough waters. You know what I mean? So, because you're not going to have any Big Ten. It's not easy to navigate those waters, right? So you're gonna go to some hostile environments, and for you to be shook as a head coach at a press conference like this, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Really,
if they wanted to make a minority hire, they could have hired the guy you just mentioned as a head coach, Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah. So moving on here, this guy I love talking about because I still don't get how he's there. I still don't understand how James Franklin's still at Penn State. He's been there 11 years, by the way.
He's winning 9-10 games a year,
Okay, when is that acceptable? Penn State, are you not supposed to win a national championship eventually?
They ain't won one since 1980 something, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's my point.
Penn State's not a team that's known for winning multiple national championships. They're not a blue blood, not really.
Well, I mean, what you think 11 years, you would expect some type of winning of maybe one. Or
the only thing I could agree with is he should have won the Big Ten by now.
And he hasn't done that
at least
times.
once. But he can't get over the Ohio State and Michigan hump. So
he brought in a first year offense coordinator, Andy Kolenikel. I don't know how you say his name. It's a strange one. He came over from Kansas, right? So that was actually a really good hire to me. And this is the wild part, is that James Franklin actually cycles through coordinators quite often because a lot of his coordinators end up moving on as head coaches. So
he might have won a share of the Big Ten title. You're right. In 2016, I think he might have shared the title with somebody, tied for the Big Ten championship.
All I know is I haven't seen him play in a national championship in 11 years. So moving on, then hired defense coordinator Tom Allen, former Indiana head coach, right? So this was more of he was bored and decided he wanted to become a defense coordinator at Penn State. It was a convenience hire, pretty much is all that was. And that was even admitted by James Franklin, by the way. And Justin Lustig as the new special teams coordinator.
Joe Paterno only won 2 titles in 35 years.
I understand that. I get it. But you're paying the guy like he's winning national championships. Look, contracts matter. What you're being paid matters.
They're trying to stay above water out there, man.
Yeah. Now, he did say he does understand that winning 10 games every year is not going to be enough. Eventually, they do win a title. He did end up saying that. I think he got one of the biggest grabs in getting Julian Fleming over from Ohio State. And they really talked about Julian Fleming, coming in and not using his name because he was a 5-star wide receiver that went to Ohio State. Huge, you know what I mean? A lot of hype behind him, right? And they said he came to Penn State, and he's been doing nothing but working his butt off. Like, he's not using his name. His stars, nothing behind it. He's came in, took it over the locker room, and kind of led the way as far as that goes. And also James Franklin, once again, makes a statement about the SEC. It seems like these coaches can't keep the SEC out of their mouth. Claims, of course, he has to talk about the Big Ten being better than the SEC. But the funny part was why he made that claim. He said, well, I feel like because I coached at Vanderbilt, I have enough authority to make the claim that the Big Ten is better than the SEC. You coached Vanderbilt, and you're going to sit there and make a stupid-ass statement like that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have any response to that?
And that's James Franklin, man. He's like the Big Ten version of Lane Kiffin. He's going to say shit to aggravate and to troll people. That's what he does, man. That's what he's always been. So it don't surprise me. I mean, he did bring Vanderbilt up to, going to a few bowls every now and then. So
yeah,
there's that. And that's why he got the job at Penn State. But like I said, he ain't won an enormous amount of championships or anything. So as long as Penn State's okay with it, I guess everybody else is okay with it.
They're going to consistently finish third in the Big Ten, maybe even fourth now. With Oregon coming in, they'll probably finish fourth, maybe even fifth.
Yeah.
So
this is better than finishing 7th or 8th.
Yeah. So, I mean, take it for what you get, I guess, right? Penn State's going to be, once again, a middle-of-the-road team. But, yeah, so was that second or third coach talking on the SEC?
If y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat and smash the like button for us. Y'all get out there and hit that like button for us and share it out to people. We'll get more people up in the party here. We're almost up to 50 people right now.
All right. Now, moving on to the power hour, right? The man of the hour that everybody wants to see. I meant to get a clip of this, and I completely botched that. I'll have to get one and make a video out of it or something like that. But we're talking about Lincoln Riley got on the stage and made some stupid-ass remarks on the podium, which does not surprise me.
Lincoln Riley said something stupid?
Anyways, he started off the press conference by advocating for Mike Leach to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. He said he doesn't care what the criteria is. A College Football Hall of Fame without Mike Leach shouldn't happen. Do you agree or disagree? Because I have a pretty strong opinion on this.
I can see both sides of it, but the criteria is there for a reason. So, I mean, if you're going to change the criteria for one person, you're going to have to do it for everybody else. And I know he's a colorful guy. He said some funny stuff, said some left field shit all the time. Some stuff you're like, what the hell is he talking about in the middle of press conferences?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the argument for him being is every place he coached was programs that were morbid or just not winning at all, programs that were going like 2-10, 3-9 every year. And he elevated them up to respectability, and they were going to bowls regularly for the most part. You know, they have a bad season every once in a while, not, but for the most part, he took morbid programs and turned them into respectable programs. And that's the argument for him being in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He took over Texas Tech, Washington State, right? Mississippi State. He never got Mississippi State to that level because he wasn't there long enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, Pullman and Starksville are not exactly meccas to try to recruit to.
No. But I'll say this. My opinion is there is a criteria for it, a reason. I get it. The man passed away, and that sucks for him and his family, and it sucks for the people associated with it. That doesn't give you a pass to go into a Hall of Fame.
Right.
I'm sorry, and I know that's going to hurt some people's feelings.
There's a lot of coaches out there that died and passed away that were good men that didn't meet the criteria, and they're not in. So you're going to let all these other dead coaches in just because they died?
Yeah, exactly.
And the only reason they want him in is because he was such a colorful character. That's all it's about, man.
And he passed away.
Yeah.
Because, look, this conversation wouldn't be happening if he'd have retired that year, right? Nobody would be talking about him in the Hall of Fame.
They probably would because of his character, because of the way he acts.
I mean, once again, I'm not trying to be too harsh here. I know it's a sensitive thing to talk about, but yeah.
Well, if they're going to put him in that Hall of Fame, then I guess they need to put – did they put Doink the Clown in WWE? He was pretty much a clown, right?
Oh, my gosh. But anyways, Lincoln Riley. So let me go through this list one by one, and I'll let you react to it. So he says that their focus, Lincoln Riley on USC, their focus in the offseason was defense and the defensive staff. Your take on this? They brought over D'Antoni Lynn. I don't know how you say his name, D'Antonio Lynn, something like that.
Said he concentrated on defensive staff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that should have happened a long time ago. Even when he was at Oklahoma, he should have never brought that guy with him. I don't even know if it's their fault. The people that he's hiring and firing, I don't know if it's their fault. It seems like the problem is Lincoln Riley's. He don't know how to gel with a defensive coordinator. He don't know how to coach his offense and run his program to where it's feasible for a defensive coordinator of any kind to come in and be successful.
Yeah. And look, moving on here. I try not to criticize Lincoln Riley too much. You know this. I try not to harp on Lincoln Riley a lot, right? I don't harp on Dion a lot. Like, I'm not one of those people that really do that a lot. You voice your opinion very strongly, and I appreciate that. Me, I try to minimize it because I'll say something stupid. But when it comes down to, I don't like what he said here. He said he thought it was pretty cool seeing that many names and being interested as a DC, as a defense coordinator for USC, and admits it would have been completely different if this would have been 2 years ago. Guys, if my head coach is thinking it's pretty cool that people are interested in becoming my defensive coordinator after 2 years of being in the program, there's a damn problem. That means there's no standard at USC at all. That means when Clay Helton was hired, when the people that were hired, we'll say after Pete Carroll and in between, Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, all this other BS, you're telling me that it's pretty cool that people are interested in becoming a defensive coordinator at USC now? This is one of the, I think, the most overlooked remarks in this whole press conference out of all these coaches is that this dude can make this statement.
So you talking about this year?
Yes. What he's saying is
they're interested in becoming his defensive coordinator last year.
2 years ago. So this is what I take from this comment. What I'm taking from this comment is you were looking for a defense coordinator when you were hired at USC, and you couldn't find one because there was nobody in line to go with you. They didn't want to work with you. That's what I'm taking from that comment. What else could you take from it?
If you had all these guys interested, the best you could do was UCLA's defense coordinator, and he's a decent guy and everything, but he's
good.
I never heard of him until he hired him.
No, he's an up and rising. He made the biggest transition in college football last year. UCLA's defense from the previous year to last year.
Well,
right?
I mean, like I said, he might be decent, but I just feel like, since everybody's interested in it, like he says, he could have got a bigger name than that.
And but the fact that you're going to openly admit that you were looking for a defense coordinator 2 years ago and couldn't find anybody is what you're telling me.
He just said there's a bunch of people interested.
Yes, I know that. But what I'm getting at is he's saying now it's pretty cool because there's so many people interested.
Oh, okay.
That means there was no interest before.
Well, how come there's interest now?
That's what I'm getting at. You know why there's interest now? Because when they saw what Lincoln Riley got paid to become the head coach, what do you think the coordinator is going to make? A ton of damn money.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, I wouldn't be interested in it because what if he gets fired in a couple of years?
Like, that's
job.
a really good point. Like, I think people are missing the bigger point of what he's saying, right? So most people are taking this like, ha. Like, it's funny because now we're going to bring in a real defense coordinator and compete. No, what's funny is that you're openly admitting that nobody wanted to follow Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma to USC to be his defensive coordinator, or he would have already fired Alex Grinch. Couldn't admit that. Drug Alex Grinch for a year and a half from Oklahoma to USC, right? To be the defense coordinator, to make a mockery of the whole situation when the whole time he just couldn't find somebody until now.
Sometimes your offense has to work with your defense to make the program better. And people think, you should just score as quickly as you can, but that's not always the case, man. Sometimes you need to be able to hold on to the ball, run some time. And sometimes Lincoln Riley just ain't able to do that, and it's not conducive to having a good defense if you got them out there on the field all the time.
Kirk Ferentz for Iowa said that. He actually said that. He brought up that, look, I try to bring in coordinators that work well together. And by that, he means a coordinator can complement my defense. And he said that's what he's been struggling to find. So, I mean, you hit it the nail right on the head, man. That's just what it comes down to.
If y'all want to get your comment read out, there's a little money dollar sign at the bottom. You can click on that and write your comment out and then send it, and it'll highlight it, make a little donation to the program, and it'll push it to the top. And me and Jonathan will read it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, I still got some stuff to go through here for Lincoln Riley. He did admit that he's still in rebuilding mode. He said
rebuilding?
Yeah.
How can he be in rebuilding mode when he just took half of Oklahoma's offense with him?
He's still in rebuilding. According to him, he's still building. He said he's still a transition, still building, still in rebuilding mode. That was another thing he said. Every question was a damn softball from a reporter to this guy. I swear to God, every coach in there, it was not treated the same. This dude was lobbed softball questions. When you go and watch the questions he was asked, that was kind of irritating. And every one of them was how much better the defense is just going to look. One reporter didn't do his homework whatsoever by lobbing him the question that he made a dumbass statement talking about how he played the defensive calls in the bowl game last year, and Lincoln Riley had to correct him and say, well, if he was playing the calls, then that's new to me, essentially, because he wasn't even on the field. Like, he wasn't there. So, like, that's how stupid the damn defensive coordinator was not at the game to play the calls, or to call the plays, sorry. That's what I'm saying. Like,
how do you play the calls?
Like, that's how stupid this was getting. Was like these dudes weren't even doing enough research to understand that this guy wasn't even involved with the defense yet, because he's talking about, well, you had 160-something missed tackles through the regular season, only 6 during the bowl game. How much do you attribute that to, you know what I mean, the new defense coordinator? And he's like, if he was attributing to that without even being the defense coordinator yet and coaching anybody yet, he's like, that's pretty damn good. He basically said, once again, bro, you can't even do your research. You're just lobbing stuff at this guy. And you can't even do that right.
It's like Joe Biden said, and his son got killed in the military.
Yeah, he died in Iraq. Was the status quo for the longest time. If somebody found out that was not the case, RIP, the guy did pass away from brain cancer.
Alex Grinch wasn't there, and D'Antonio, whatever his name is, wasn't there.
He was there, but he wasn't acting as a coach yet.
Oh.
Right? So they had an interim. He said, basically, if you go back and watch, there was an interim there. So somebody stepped up. And then the last one, which I don't know how to take this. I'm going to tell you what he said, and I'll let you take it from here. He cites using the Nick Saban model for scheduling by saying it's designed not to make fans happy, but to win national championships by playing 3 non-conference games, 1 early marquee game against a good team, 1 game against a not-so-good team shortly after that or before it, and then another not-so-good team later on in the schedule towards the back end, where it's basically, he said, quote, a bye week for your team. Your thoughts on that?
That's not just a Nick Saban model. That's an everybody model. Everybody does that shit. I mean, USC was scheduling Fresno State and Utah State this year, and hell, they didn't even want to play us. They used COVID to get out of playing us in Dallas. Got out of that game, didn't play football for 80% of the season that year.
Yeah.
And then they tried to get out of the LSU game. Couldn't get out of that. So guess what? They finally succeeded in getting out of a game. They got out of the Ole Miss game. Congratulations. Lincoln Riley, you got out of something. But just about every major power conference out there does that. Ohio State does it. Everybody does it. And also my argument to them is this, is that they have built-in cupcakes within their conference. So, you know, they all do that. Man, what does it matter when the cupcake is played? If you play Bowling Green in September and Alabama plays Bowling Green at the end of November, does it really matter when you play the cupcake? It's just them straw grasping because they're emasculating.
So you're taking it as a negative thing. I'm kind of feeling the same way, but once again, is it me or is Lincoln Riley just can't
keep comments off? Because we ain't got a comment in a while.
I know. No, the comments aren't off. Is it me or is it just like it's like Lincoln Riley has to talk, and then of course there comes a comment. Lincoln Riley has to bring up previous coaches or places he's coached at.
Because I'm not seeing any comments
to compare. No, we just had one come in from Rye Guy. I guess Ohio State did schedule a tough non-conference game a few years back, and it ended poorly for the Buckeyes. You must be talking about Oklahoma when Baker Mayfield planted the flag in the O. Is that what you're talking about, Rye Guy? So, and that's, yeah. And Oregon didn't Oregon beat Ohio State just recently?
One thing that people neglect to tell everybody is, and Nick Saban alluded to this, is that we've scheduled these games with them before. We tried to get them to do home and homes. People used to give us hell about playing neutral sites. Nick Saban, I've tried to get them to do home and homes. They don't want to do it. So what are you supposed to do? All right, well, I'll give you a neutral site game. And that's the only way we can get them to play us. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and then, of course, you say that, and here comes the comments. Lincoln is toxic. Yeah, talking about Lincoln Riley. Because when you say Lincoln, for some reason, I go to Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln Riley would still be a nobody if it wasn't for Bob Stoops bringing him from Oklahoma from East Carolina. Yeah, I could see that because he was groomed by Bob Stoops correctly. Like he was groomed to be the next guy, like well in advance.
Should have been grooming Brett Venables the whole time.
Ooh, yeah, I would have saved him some heartache. 1989 M in the house. Outlaw Posse. Sorry, I'm late. What's going on, bro?
Hey, 1989 M, brother, you just missed it. We had some Michigan State fans in here, man. They got pissed off at me because I told them they had an ugly-ass football field and some vanilla-ass helmets. They need to spruce it up like the big house.
Yep, Rye Guy. That and the Ducks game. Yeah, so, yeah, we definitely made sure to bring that up. Offensive genius. So, yeah, Lincoln Riley definitely is a really good offensive coordinator. There's no denying that. Offensive coordinator all day. Give him that all day.
He don't know how to give his defense a rest. That's all I'm saying.
Ohio State did get out of the game in Autzen because the governor wouldn't allow any fans for the 2020. So, yeah, the COVID year was kind of weird. That was, in my opinion, the exception. Woke 2 missed me again. I didn't get a notification when you went live. Actually, I went earlier today when Neckbeard dropped the video. JD Wilmot. So your bell notification is turned on then. Yeah, I mean, we're doing live streams about every other day. So, and they're pretty much all going to be between, what would you say, 7 and 8:30 JBC. So,
it's all between 7 and 8 is ideal for us.
Yeah, and we're going to start scheduling these things out when we can. I'm starting a new job soon, so but it still frees me up in the afternoon to do live streams. But either way, yeah, I just put out a video in case you guys want to go check it out on the cold summer cookout that Alabama is doing, bringing in quite a few 2026 and 2027 recruits. And the 2025 recruits are the ones hosting it. So, yeah. Oh, here we go. You think Lincoln is going to be the OC at Georgia? And if you Kirby Smart wouldn't take Lincoln Riley.
Might.
You think so?
And Nick Saban took Lane Kiffin. That was like,
oh, yeah.
Everybody thought that would be like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker teaming up.
I mean, it kind of ended that way. It definitely kind of ended that way.
I could see Lincoln Riley as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. That's what I could see.
That, yes. Or a straight up assistant.
They say the NFL coaching is a lot less stressful than college now.
That and the weather in Michigan. So, what are you referring to, Colby Bernard?
He's talking about Michigan State, I guess.
Do you think Lincoln becomes the OC for Alabama? I don't think Kalen DeBoer is going to bring in somebody like that. He's too fresh at Alabama. You give him, if he's there 5 or 6 years, yeah, he'll probably start bringing people in that you maybe not think he would. But
he might bring in Lincoln's brother as an offensive player.
Well, he's doing pretty well. He's got his work cut out for him, but I think his brother could be just as good, if not better. Oh, let's see here. I would love sitting Lincoln, Alabama. Saban isn't. Yeah. And if Saban would have been there, it'd been no. Yeah.
Saban would have took him in and maybe car washed him a little bit.
Yeah, he would have. I disagree. Lincoln loves TK. Oh man.
Loves what?
So he's. What is TK?
Lincoln loves what?
It says Lincoln loves TK.
You spelling cock with a K or?
Oh my God!
Lincoln loves the cock. What you trying to say?
How about this fall? What is it? Outlaw Posse versus Lou Tube. Could make headlines. Are you talking about the Georgia fan? What's his name?
Yeah. Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou. There
That's
we go.
what they call him. His correct name is Auntie Louise. I done told y'all, get that shit right, man. Y'all gonna make him mad because you know he's transgender now. He's done converted. So y'all respect the they, them, it, they, them, that.
Lincoln loves to recruit. He won't go to the NFL. What he better step up some recruiting because the recruiting class in 2025 ain't doing so hot. I'll say that. I have not been impressed this
year.
Love
to recruit, man. Nobody loves to recruit nowadays. Hell, Nick Saban used to love to recruit. Look what he done. He retired because of all the BS that goes on with recruiting. Now you have to basically kowtow to these players.
The 2025 class is almost over with, and USC sitting at 24th right now.
Y'all better get your shit together. You're going to be outside the top 25.
They're behind TCU, Wisconsin, Kentucky, SMU, and Rutgers.
Damn. Y'all get beat out by a basketball school? You got Kentucky over there dribbling their nuts off of you, man.
And then ahead of that's Florida State, Washington,
Rutgers,
Texas,
man.
Auburn.
Rutgers. They're in the Big Ten. They're in New Jersey, man. Who the hell wants to play in New Jersey?
Steve Sarkisian's kind of let me down this year as well. Texas is, to me, 16th in recruiting is not the way you want to go. I get it. You're going to have an off year every now and then, but 16th is too far down for Texas and their money.
Uncle Lou is a leftist. Yeah. Yeah, he blocked me from his channel because I called him Auntie Louise, and he was making some derogatory political comments that I didn't totally agree with. I'm not going to get into all that because it pisses Jonathan off a little bit.
Look, guys, I don't do politics. I hate political shit. I've never been a fan of it.
He likes Whoopi Goldberg, though.
I don't talk religion, and I don't talk politics.
But he talks about Whoopi Goldberg to me offline.
I'll talk about Whoopi Goldberg. I don't like Whoopi Goldberg, but I'll talk about her.
I made a picture of you and her together. That's what I was laughing about.
Yeah, 100% agree, Colby here. Great offensive schemes. Yeah, I'm throwing it off.
You want me to show it to you?
Yeah. No, I don't want you to show it to me. I'm looking through here. Anyways.
I can put it up on the big screen here.
No, we're good. She's so stupid.
It's just a picture of you grabbing her by the wonk.
Do you have a picture of that?
Yeah.
You made a picture of that?
Yeah. You want to see it?
All right, you might as well. Why do you throw me off, man, when you come over here and do this stuff? Oh my Lord.
There it is. Jonathan says, grab Whoopi by 2024. That's the new campaign slogan. Grab her by her pee. Just like Jameis Winston, another old guy.
You're so stupid. Oh my Lord. Nobody is safe around you. No, nobody. See, I dealt with a neck beard. I dealt with, what was it, IBS. Hell, you even combined it, the IBS neck beard. Now Whoopi. The Whoopi thing doesn't do it for me. It's funny. I'll give you that. That's funny.
You know who made that shit for me, don't you?
Your son.
Yeah,
I already know that's got Landon written all over it.
but I wrote the stuff on it.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Here's the actual question. You think Spencer Rattler, I believe if Spencer Rattler gets to sit down and get developed and coached, which never happened in Oklahoma. It never happened in South Carolina. I believe he has a chance to do good. The dude has a cannon for an arm. He has to be developed. I mean, he's a guy that's going to need to sit down and probably take 3 to 4 years to get developed. Like actually developed. So, we got some talking in here today. Howdy, boy. Sorry, I'm not going on Fred Bagley, but Killer Breeze, your boy, I know he's not talking to me that way, so he's definitely talking to you.
Woo. What's up?
Killer Breeze.
Did you like my Whoopi Goldberg poster of Jonathan there? That's his campaign slogan. Jonathan, they'd be better off. They'd be better off making you the candidate for president. Oh, Kamala.
What's the slogan? Quick release and pretty accurate. Yeah, Spencer definitely. He has all the tangibles, bro. He has everything to be a really good NFL quarterback, in my opinion. Once again, I believe he just needs to be sit down and he needs to be developed. I'm kind of surprised. I don't think a lot of there are some USC people that don't like OJ ever being even brought up. So it's happened in the past where those interviews kind of go quiet. Mike Tyson actually did an interview on that when they were talking about it, and they brought up OJ at USC and how some of they wouldn't say who, but people would allude to his boosters. You don't bring up OJ in some of those circles.
Yeah, you don't bring up Aaron Fernandez in Gainesville either.
Yeah. I mean, that's just certain stuff you just stay away from. Spencer did some growing up. He needed it. No more. Yeah, exactly. And Spencer needed a dad, essentially. I hate to put it that way. I'm not saying he doesn't have a dad, but he needed that dad to like whoop his ass when he was getting out of line. Right? So he needed to be treated like he was immature because he was immature. And he was never treated like he was immature. Yeah, and Spencer stayed of his own head. Yeah, you're right on that. Like, I know they still have OJ's number retired, but they distance. Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It's weird because if you watch the OJ documentary, especially, you'll get it. You know what I mean? So like, it's just an odd situation with OJ. I think he's running up a lot from Beyond the Lights. That show is foul. Yeah, see, I'm not gonna lie, Beyond the Lights didn't do nobody no good. It didn't do no.
Imagine if we was on Cameron High School. Yeah, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
Same. I went to juvie. You know what I mean? When I was 16.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean? It just, I don't know. We're all stupid as kids.
I sprayed a guy in the face with some tear gas on the top floor of Holt High School. In the science room, they had to evacuate it. He was a big old bully, and I was weighed about 110 pounds. So my mom gave me some tear gas to take to school, and I zapped him in the face because he'd been bullying me. And
that's surprising.
They ended up kicking me out of that school. I had to go to another school. But his name was Charlie Dearman, and everybody started calling him Charlie Tierman.
You've been a bully since you were a kid. Oh man, that's wild.
I was a real small kid.
Jake Fromm, I believe, was on Beyond the Lights too, man. I don't think anybody's come out of that show looking good. it's almost like Last Chance U. Like everybody wants to blame the kids, but it's like, are you not looking around at the adults either and watching what they're doing? Like, holy crap. It's their job too to straighten these kids out. Sometimes they're still young. It's odd to distance themselves. No, it's not odd that they distance themselves from that at all. You're talking about Aaron Hernandez. What's odd is sometimes they will bring it up.
He's talking about OJ.
Oh, well, OJ and Aaron.
Yeah.
So, depends on which one you want to talk about. But, yeah, in both cases, Florida and USC, some people will talk about it and some won't.
Yeah. What's odd is the fact that they still got his jersey retired. I'd take that shit out of my history altogether. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I agree. Killer Breeze, smash the like button. By the way, JPC, tell us how you get deputized on here.
Yeah, you'll see people in here with their badges like Fred Bagley and Killer Breeze and a few others that are up the screen I can't see. But if you want to get your badge and get deputized, it's $2.99 a month. There's a little join button you can click on. You hit that join button, and you'll get your badge. You'll get deputized. Get a random Full Horseman shout out on the actual podcast as well as possible. Be the comment of the day.
There you go. So, and with that being said, I'm sure Killer Breeze smashed some corn dogs as well.
That's right.
I haven't had a chance to say it in a long time.
He is a half-breed.
So, do appreciate the share, obviously.
So, y'all know Killer Breeze is half Sooner and half coon dog.
He did go to LSU. He attended the university.
He's old coon.
Louisiana State University.
He's a coon alumnus.
Oh, man. So many people take offense to that shit. All right. Well, that's all I have. Yeah, as far as anything you guys want to talk about, we got Big Ten Media Day tomorrow. So I got the schedule right here. Let me bring this up so you guys can see it, I guess, since it is the main topic today. Let's see here. Tomorrow, July 25th, you start off Big Ten Media Day with Dan Lanning at 11:30 a.m. I'm not sure if this is Central or Eastern, by the way. I have no clue. Then you go to Minnesota with PJ Fleck, Maryland with Mike Loxley. Mike Loxley, man, he's just been pretty solid at Maryland. Came from Alabama, right? So offense coordinator, did a pretty good job there, in my opinion. Brought over Talia Tagovailoa when Tua went pro, and took him with him. Then you got Jed Fish, which I think will be interesting to watch with Washington. Jed Fish has got some big shoes to fill as far as Kalen DeBoer and what he did turning that program around. And he's already bringing in some pretty big-time recruits. And then Kirk Senege with Indiana. And then Sharon Moore, of course, taking over for the none other Jim Harbaugh for Michigan at 12:45.
Yeah, I don't know about that hire.
Sharon Moore was it a Deshaun Foster hire?
More like one of them emotional hires, you know.
Because he cried?
Yeah, because he put on that damn act about loving Jim Harbaugh and crying about the shit on national TV.
Yeah. Like I said, I would have probably stripped my Jim's husband. Look, he tried to steal his own stuff back and went to prison for 33 years.
Yeah.
That was a messed up situation. He says Sooner Cajun.
Okay.
We'll say, was it Go Sooners, but you'll spell the Go Geaux. Ooh, I like that.
Geaux, yeah. That's so cool. It's so cool to spell a 2-letter word with 5 letters. That's so cool, man.
They're just
I wish we thought of that, man. That's so cool. Not.
See, I think Indiana Central and Eastern. Yeah, I wasn't sure where Indiana was, whether they were in Central or not, or Indianapolis. He said,
Yeah. So why didn't the Big Ten move their media days closer to the Western teams, like the SEC placated to Texas and Oklahoma and moved it shit to Dallas?
Well, I mean,
Shit sort of pissed me off a little bit.
a little bit of Dallas, yeah, it kind of same. Oh, a wiener eater is up for Prez. I'm assuming you're talking about Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
I don't like talking politics, but I'm assuming that's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the schedule for Big Ten Media Days tomorrow. I am interested. I think there's going to be some stuff that's going to come out of tomorrow's. I don't think it's going to be as entertaining, but I think you're going to have better information coming out tomorrow. Because today's was really kind of boring. Softball questions.
There's going to be softball questions all throughout.
Yeah, but Dan Lanning didn't get those last year. I think Dan Lanning and Mike Loxley is going to be the ones that kind of tell how it is.
Dan Lanning wasn't in the Big Ten last year.
Well, yeah, that's true. He didn't have Big Ten Media Day. Yeah, you're right. Different people. Good point.
Maybe if Dion and Colorado joined the Big Ten, we'd have some interesting shit go down with him and Dan Lanning because, they play for clicks out there in Boulder. That's what Dan said. Dan said that, not me.
Yeah. Why not put the Big Ten Media Day in Vegas? I like that idea. I think I would actually maybe attend that if it was cheap enough.
Exactly.
And I'm not even a Big Ten fan. So Killer Bree said, how did Tebow do today? Well, he made some pretty crazy comments. I'll give you that. But, I mean, what else is new? He wants to put Mike Leach in the Hall of Fame, which I don't think that's crazy. He focused on the defense and defensive staff in the offseason, obviously bringing in new defense coordinator. I thought it was pretty cool that many people were interested in defense coordinator job at USC because apparently that's not a standard anymore. Admits that they're still in rebuilding mode at USC, and the only reason he's even saying that is because they went 7-5 in the regular season last year. Then cites Saban's model of how it doesn't appease the fans but wins national championships by scheduling one marquee non-con game and 2 easy games. Yeah, that was pretty much the gist of what Lincoln Riley had going on today. But it was kind of, I don't know. Go and watch Lincoln Riley's press conference today or tomorrow. I think you guys will kind of find it entertaining.
Yeah. Watch the earlier part of this show where I expounded on what I thought about his comments.
Yeah.
Because this will upload the podcast after we get off of here.
Yep. But, yeah, that's pretty much all the news that came out today. I'm even looking. I don't think ESPN's released anything else, like NBC, ABC, all of them. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Is this? Yeah, Jordan. By the way, Jordan Addison arrested for a DUI.
Who cares? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much all I have. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, that's all. That's all. I think the comment of the day would probably go to me, considering Michigan State needs to spruce up their football field.
Oh, my Lord. You can't give yourself comment of the day. Anyways, he announces the comments of the day. Don't you announce them in your podcast, in your normal videos?
Yeah, I do.
So anyways, all right, well, make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be doing live streams, like I said, probably every other day, it feels like, especially during these media days. You're about to set up with a dead period in recruiting, so you're going to find a lot less recruiting videos from me and probably a lot more just different content talking about recruits, not necessarily them committing, all that good stuff. So other than that, make sure to tell them where they can find you at as well, JPC, as far as Twitter or X.
Yep, at OCF Productions on X.
Then obviously you guys see for me when and we got a banner open. Oh, there we go. At College FB Lewis for me. Other than that, everybody make sure to have a good day. And as always, neck beard out.